No, it didn't. I could hear, as I said, I could hear a banging noise, and I saw a red and reddish whitish explosion, my lady. Like,
No, you say, as I said, I could hear a banging noise and I could see. You've never said that.
I did, my lady. My chief, I did say that I heard a noise.
I'll check. It might be. I'll check. You said you heard a bang coming from that room.
That is what I said, my lady.
Yeah. So you heard a bang and a muzzle flash.
I didn't hear the muzzle flash, my lady. I saw the muzzle flash. That's correct, my lady.
You're not that tired. You're keeping up with where I make mistakes.
I am indeed, my lady.
Yes, I just want to put that on record. Why would you say it was not a camera flash? Why are you saying that?
My lady, I've answered this question.
Answer it again, please, Mr. Pistorius.
My lady, it was because I knew it wasn't a camera flash, because I could hear a bang. I associated it with a firearm. I could see that the muzzle color it looked like red and white, my lady.
Now, before I go on, I just have to get it clear for myself. This was out of the blue. Nothing happened that would give that, whoever that was, reason to fire it.
I have no idea why this would have happened, my lady.
You're alone in your car?
That's correct, my lady. I was coming back from a late night interview.
You had a cell phone with you?
That's correct, my lady.
I'm sure you immediately phoned someone.
I didn't immediately phone somebody. My first thought was to get away as far as I could. I said in my chief that I took the highway exit. I sped up extremely quickly. I took the undercarriage. I climbed back on the highway in the opposite direction. I took the next turn off. I wasn't sure if the person was going to turn around, so I was constantly checking my mirrors. I didn't have time to make a phone call. When I got to the Rhapsodies, I made a phone call, my lady.
When was this?
It was in 2008, 2009, my lady.
2008, 2009. And then you went to Rhapsodies.
That's correct, my lady. I went to just the first, as you take John Foster turnoff, if you go over the highway, the first shopping centre on the left, there's a couple of restaurants there and there's a Rhapsodies there. It was quite busy. There were people there and I thought that it would be safe to be around other people. So I parked my car in the parking bay and I phoned somebody to come and pick me up to take me home.
But you went into Rhapsodies?
No, I didn't go into Rhapsodies.
You didn't? You waited in the parking area?
That's correct.
Who did you phone?
I don't remember, my
No,
lady.
you must remember. You cannot tell this court that on this incident, traumatic incident, you cannot remember who picked you up.
My lady, this is 6 years ago, my lady. I don't remember who I phoned.
No, you see, it is so improbable that you wouldn't remember who you phoned. And it's so improbable that in consultation, you wouldn't have been asked the same question. For your counsel to find out who you phoned.
I don't know who I phoned, my lady. My counsel did ask me and I told them I don't know.
It's because it never happened. You don't want anybody to check up. That's the only reason why you would forget who picked you up that night that somebody almost shot you.
That's not true, my lady.
It's the one night that somebody almost shot you, am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
And you can remember raps. You remember exactly where you turned left, where you turned right, and how you got to Rhapsody. Exactly.
That's correct, my lady.
But you do not remember who you phoned. That doesn't make sense.
That's correct, my lady.
No, it doesn't make sense. You don't want anybody to be able to check up on this.
That's not true, my lady. If I could remember who I phoned, I'd gladly give you their name because that would collaborate my story, my lady. I don't remember it.
Now, on your version, you left your car there.
That's correct, my lady.
How did you get your car back?
I don't remember, my lady. Somebody must have picked me up the next morning or dropped me off.
Now, one thing we have, I'm sure you agree with, that if somebody shoots at you on a highway, that's a very serious incident.
I agree, my lady.
One could die.
That's correct, my lady.
And you, well, I've already asked a question, so I have to ask a different question. Why did you not report it to the police?
My lady, I don't see what the police could have possibly done about it.
Why do you say that? Police investigate cases. They can find things out, but you didn't trust them.
That's correct, my lady. I didn't have the trust in them to find out what... I don't think they would have given it the attention.
That's not the first word about trusting the police that I've read in your family. But we'll get to what I've read in your family because I just want to work on this. And I'll make it easier for you. Your father had similar views. You know that?
I don't know that, my lady.
Have you never read it anywhere?
Not that I can recall, my lady.
Did
I don't know.
nobody tell you what your father said in the media at all?
Not regarding the police, my lady. I can't remember.
About possessing guns?
No, my lady. I don't read papers. I try not to follow the media. I don't know what my father said. I don't have contact with him.
Okay. I'm going to rephrase the question. Please think. You have no idea what your father said in the media about ownership of guns in South Africa.
I have no idea what my father said, my lady. I understand that Mr. Niles read things out of video extracts. I grew up in a family where we did phone the police, and not once did our things get sorted out or did they catch anyone. I can understand if that was my father's opinion, but I haven't read anything.
But you, Mr. Pistorius, in 2008, 2009, did not trust the police.
It's not that I didn't trust the police. I didn't trust the police to be able to do anything about the situation, my lady.
Is that also why you never reported your burglary? Because you never trusted the police?
Yes, that is possibly true, my lady. Although I'd called the police out, I think that is what I did say. I'd called the police out, but there wasn't a docket that was opened when there was an attempt burglary. What I said was, when it came to my burglaries, that it happened a week and a half earlier, when I was overseas. I didn't see what the police could possibly do. What I said is I also didn't have insurance at the time, so there was no need for me to open a police report. There were many factors. I wouldn't just contribute it to one factor.
But one of the factors is you thought that you didn't trust the police to do anything about your house burglary.
That's not what I said, my lady.
But is that a factor?
No, what I said, I didn't say I didn't have trust in them to do anything about it. I said I didn't trust that they would be able to do anything about it, that anything would happen. I don't know if they would investigate it or not, but I didn't see how they could possibly find out who'd burgled my house a week and a half earlier.
So you don't know who picked you up from Rhapsodies. Pardon me. You don't know who picked you up from Rhapsodies.
As I said, my lady, I don't remember.
And a similar incident did not happen after that, where somebody fired at you.
So no, I didn't have somebody fire at me. I said in my chief that there were people that had followed me, but there weren't people that had fired at me again.
Now, let us then deal with the 2012 incident where you said you got assaulted. Remember that incident?
Yes, I clearly remember that incident.
But before we go there, something gave rise to that particular incident. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
You approached a Mr. van der Berg at a public get-together at Daytona. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady. It wasn't a public get-together of Daytona Group, but it was a racetrack meeting.
So in public, you approached Mr. Quentin van der Berg, and you had an argument with him about Samantha Taylor.
I didn't have an argument about him, my lady.
What did you do?
Mr. van der Berg had taken Samantha Taylor overseas whilst I was at the Olympics on a pretense that it was for a work function. He's in his late 30s and Samantha's 19, 20 years old. It later came out when her and I were reconciling our relationship when I got back from London. There are emails to show that she said that he was manipulative and disgusting and a whole bunch of things, and this is what she conveyed to me in person. I didn't expect to see Mr. van den Berg at the Kyalami racetrack. When I arrived, I saw him and I immediately went to a different side of the outside area where we were. He stared at me the whole morning, my lady. He made eye contact with me and he just couldn't keep his eyes off me. I said to a friend of mine, there were many of my friends there at the time, I said to them, I actually feel like leaving. I don't feel like any confrontation with this person. And as I was leaving, Mr. van den Berg turned around and looked at me. So I approached him and I said to him, Mr. van den Berg, you obviously know who I am. I just want you to know that I have very little respect for what you did. I didn't threaten him in any manner. I told him exactly what I thought about him. I didn't swear at him. There were many, many people that were around. And he didn't have any reply to me. I turned around and I left after that.
That's your version, but let us just test it because I don't know who will give evidence. Mr. De Vardes was there.
That's correct.
Who else was there?
Mr. Barwell was there, my lady,
Barwell,
another
yes.
friend of mine. Mr. Larina, who was here, he gave
Larina was
evidence.
there?
He was right there. He was standing.
Yeah. No.
Mr. Fresco was there, I
Fresco
believe.
was there, yeah. Now, if anybody would say that you approached him, you were aggressive, they would be lying.
That's correct, my lady.
So, but you approached him.
That's correct, my lady.
And you indicated that you're unhappy with what he did.
That's correct, my lady.
And if he would say you were aggressive, he's lying.
My lady, Mr. van den Berg sent me a legal letter about 2 weeks later asking my management for my address. It was clear that he wanted to pick a fight. He sent an email from a lawyer on an official letterhead. The letterhead had names of many countries on it, but the lawyer was registered from his home. It was an intimidation letter that I received. I seek legal advice. I was told not to even waste my time in replying to Mr. van den Berg. Although, when I got home that day from Kyalami, I had a function to attend at Sun City. Miss Taylor was waiting for me at my house. She had been at my house throughout the morning that day. She was going to go with me to Sun City. When I got home, she was extremely upset that I'd confronted Mr. van den Berg. An argument pursued and I asked her why she was defending him. She said to me that somebody had phoned her and told her that I had approached him and told him, basically told him off. I asked her you know, after all the things that she told me about this person while she was defending them, she immediately became, said that she wasn't defending him. I told her that I didn't have time to argue about this. If it's been very hard for me to forgive her for what had happened, if she would like to defend him. Our bags were already packed to Sun City. I actually gave her the keys to my Jeep. I said to her, you're more than welcome to just take your bag. I've got a business function I need to attend. This relationship isn't working. I cannot deal with the drama of this man and you. Please, let's just leave it. And I put her bag in my car. I gave her the key and I said to her that I would organize that somebody pick up the vehicle at a later stage. She then pleaded with me. She said she was sorry. I said to her, I understand if she's sorry, but that she can please not defend this person who's got in between her and I. We got into my car, we drove to Sun City, which is very important because by the time we got to Sun City, I was met in the foyer by Mr. Batchelor. He came over and he approached Samantha Taylor and I, and he must have known that I was there for a function. I'm not sure if Samantha had told Quinton and he had told Batchelor, but it all came together later on when Mr. Batchelor was the person who was involved in this intimidation and the repercussion of it with the assault where we landed up at the Hawks.
Okay, now you've given us now this long discussion. You see, that's the issue with leading good character evidence of yourself, because are you telling me that you never shouted at Samantha Taylor when you got home?
We got into an argument, my lady.
You shouted at her?
I didn't shout at her, my lady.
No.
I was very civil with her. I had had enough of the relationship. I packed her bag in my car. I offered her to take my vehicle.
I hear what you're saying, Mr. Pistorius, but we will deal with this a bit further, but let me just deal with one thing. You, the person that approached Mr. van der Berg in a public area and confronted him because he took Samantha Taylor overseas.
That's correct, my lady.
Good, you confirm. So, and that is the incident that gave rise to the incident where you got assaulted.
That's correct, my lady.
Now there again, you approached the person with the phone.
That's correct, my lady.
Nobody, at the time, you were at this get-together. In fact, you were in the bathroom when you overheard a conversation.
That's correct, my lady.
You then approached that person to talk on the phone.
As I said, that's correct, my lady.
And you then spoke to Mr. Mark Batchelor.
That's correct, my lady.
And you threatened him that you'll break his legs.
That's incorrect.
But you know, you've heard that he said that.
I've heard that he said that.
So he's lying.
He is lying, my lady.
You're telling us the truth.
That is correct, my lady.
You never said that.
I never said any threat or anything to Mr. Batchelor. I would not be so careless, my lady. He's revered as a person that has been in many assault charges. I would never attempt to threaten somebody. The only reason I approached the person who was on the phone was to defuse the situation. After more than 10 minutes trying to reason with him, I came to the conclusion that this man wasn't of the mind to talk about something. He told me that Mr. van den Berg was a good friend of his and that if I want to, in a very explicit tone, he told me to wind my neck in. These are all the words I used when we were at the Hawks. We discussed the story. The story was diffused there. I called the meeting at the Hawks.
I know you wanted, let us deal with the evidence now. The fact is that you never reported, and I'm talking to a police station. You never reported this to a police station.
That's correct.
Mr. De Vares arranged a meeting with a very senior member at the Hawks.
That's correct, my lady.
So you all went to the Hawks.
That's correct.
Where that was you, Mr. De Vares, who else?
It was myself, Mr. De Vares, Mr. Batchelor, and Mr. Batchelor brought a lawyer with him, my lady, who was representing him and Quinton van den Berg.
And after that, there was no court cases.
No, there were no court cases.
Now, you were assaulted that night.
No, I was not assaulted that night, my lady.
You weren't assaulted?
No, my lady.
Not when you visited the Hawks, but after you spoke on the phone.
That wasn't the same day, my lady.
Wasn't it the same? No. Let us just deal with it. the time when you spoke to Mr. Batch